Interesting. Hello. Welcome. Thank you, everybody, for joining and watching. If you're live, then thank you for being here. If you're coming to watch the stream after the fact, I really appreciate you coming to check this out. Basically, in the first couple seconds, let me explain that I will be scrolling through photos that I've taken throughout the Toronto Audiofest 2023 as a recap of my experiences. I will stop to answer questions. I will, let me see if my sound is actually working here. Yeah, sounds like sound is good. I'm going to wait till chat comes in. If chat comes in live, then I will answer any questions that come up, anything that you're curious about. If you watch the replay of the stream and you're not live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then leave a question in the comments and I will try to answer as best as I can whatever questions you may have about the experience. One thing I will note about my previous video that was pointed out in a Focal Name fan group was that in my previous video I was mistakenly calling the Sopra series a Utopia series. Now, I should have known better, but in that moment when you're doing things live and I'm not editing for content, then I was just saying what was on my mind. Now, that is a mistake. Those were the wrong models, but I'm sure that we'll be able to catch it here. And that's why I like people being live in my comments and live in my experiences, though, that whatever is being shared can be corrected right in that moment, and that way we all learn from it. So without further ado, let me just get into the photos that I have here and showcase what was on tap. So the first thing that I'm going to say is the EQ Audio Room. An EQ Audio Video is a store that's here local to Toronto and the GTA area. They are actually located in Barrie, Ontario. So if any locals are in the area that want to check out a different variety of products. Now, I know that Audio Excellence and Audio One and True Tone and Electronic Depot and Corby's Audio, and there are a lot of brands that I've actually connected with at AudioFest and in person. So I like to be able to share all of those names. Kennedy Hi-Fi, that's also in Toronto and Markham area. They're all fantastic shops. They all offer a lot of products. But if they don't carry exactly what you want, then I don't see anything wrong with browsing around and catching up with other types of brands or other types of companies that are in the area that can give you a good demo of what's going on. So I just want to say that first off, EQ Audio did an amazing job at the show. They had a great room. All of the representatives at the show were fantastic, very, very family-oriented type of experience, and it was fun to actually see everybody together. So what I will do is scroll through my shots. You will see a lot of mixed rooms from different vendors, and I want to showcase a little bit of what was going on. So EQ Audio has Rotel, Monitor Audio, Focal, Name, Musical Fidelity, and acoustic panels that were on the room. They represented a lot of brands that were there. So my photos will basically reflect what I saw in room, and not only just shooting for what I've seen, but I like to make the photos a little more interesting, a little more artistic. So with this photo, for instance, the idea here is to show off the back of the Hyphen speakers, and as you can see through the back of the speaker, where the woofers are located and connected, which are here. This is the surface of the woofer there. And they're bracing to connect the two cabinets together. In the middle, you can see that the tweeter housing at the front is actually vented towards the rear, and they actually have the logo of the brand in the background, which is really awesome. So I was able to zoom in and actually capture that there. Oh, hey man, it's live with Living Loud with Andy. How are you, dude? I don't always catch the streams, but I'm always grateful when I can see what's going on with the streams. Nice to see you. That's awesome. I see that my friend Val is here. VTV, what's going on? Oh yeah, I am in the Discords. That's true. I need to be more present and chat a little more often. Thank you for that reminder. My apologies that I don't always get around, but I do want to say Thanks for joining, and welcome to everybody who tunes in live and after the fact. Thank you for being here. It's really, really awesome that I can connect with the community in a way and showcase some of the stuff that's going on from audio shows that not everybody gets a chance to see. And that's essentially what we're doing here today, is talking about some of the things that I saw at Toronto Audiofest 2023. Now, I'm going through my photo reel, so we'll be able to talk about whatever it is that I see. Now, there are some things that I noticed, even with this shot here. If you check this out, zoom in. Is it going to help me? Is it going to zoom in? Come on. Nope. Don't want to do that. See, right here, when they unbox the speaker, if you can see, it's a really cool logo. But if you see around the edges of the speaker, the metal here, it snagged some of the cloth that was covering the speaker to begin with. Now, this is on the back of the speaker, and of course, I'm a brat for details, and all of the brands and friends are going to forgive me for this, but of course, I got behind the speakers, and I noticed. So that's one thing. I believe these are audience cables. Hard to tell from this angle, to be honest, but I do believe EQ Audio has a really good deal for audience cable. Yeah, there we go. Right in the corner, we can see that these are audience cables. I want to do my best and represent what I'm looking at. So anyhow, let's scroll on and see what else we can see. So there's another shot that I got. Again, like I was saying, I like to shoot for details, but I also like to shoot for art. So I've included an angle here where you get to see through the speaker, which is not very commonly shown, but I also got the brand of the speaker in the top. Across the room on the other side, using this bracing to cover up the logo of another brand. So we've got the speaker plus the brand name of the store. I think that's pretty cool. My trackpad is not working here. I'm trying to zoom out, but it doesn't want to zoom out. Okay, take it easy. All right, scrolling onwards. How are you guys doing today? Let me know in the chat. I can see what you're saying. It is nice to be live again and being able to do what we do, having content to share with people that's not the same old boring everyday stuff. So the Hyphens, these speakers that we're looking at here in white, were displayed for the first time in Canada at Audiofest 2023, and they actually sounded quite amazing, if I'm honest. They project very, very well. So underneath this grill mesh, which you can see has a double layer, it's not an optical illusion. There's actually 2 layers of aluminum here in front of the drivers. Behind here are 6 2-inch mid-ranges plus a ribbon tweeter in the middle. So it works kind of like a concentric driver. So if you have your tweeter in the center and your mid-range frequencies are coming from around the driver, it works sort of like a KEF driver, KEF UniQ driver, where it's a mid-range cone that moves and the tweeter's in the middle. Coaxial drivers for car audio, similar to this concept. Monitor Audio has decided to build an array of mid-range cones or mid-range drivers, which are actually flat, around the ribbon tweeter in the middle, so they're mounted to the woofers in the back, and that's what we're looking at here in the front, is that display. You can barely see them with the light. Trying to zoom in again, and it's not working. There we go. You can kind of see the 6 drivers here. It's really difficult because of the contrast in the materials. So there's 6 2-inch drivers with the ribbon in the middle, and it's vented through this mesh, which is actually really, really cool hexagonal design. So this was the first time that they were shown. Ooh, pie. I like that. A&W is I guess A&W's in the US as well. I never know what to call out when I'm on live because people that are viewing from all over the world don't have the same brands and the same things. So but that's good. I wouldn't mind having some pie of my own. Apple pie at that. That's awesome. Yeah, so the first time playing in North America, US had a display sometime in the middle of last year. I think Audio Advice also had them at one point. The Audio Advice live show that they had a couple months ago. But this was the first time that Monitor Audio brought Hyphens to Canada, so it was really nice to see them out and playing. They had them paired to the Michi monoblock amplifiers. They were really awesome. There we go. just in time for me to talk about what I need to. There they are in the photo. It's like I did this on purpose or something. Yeah, so they have I think it's the P5 V2 preamp plus the monoblocks per channel. These speakers projected sound so incredible. It was really interesting because you can hear them very, very clearly and almost without any drop in clarity at the other end of the room. Wild design, I wonder what inspired it. There's a whole clip actually online, Monitor Audio, where you can look into the design process and how they decided on this design, what they were trying to do, the team that was involved. They did a video talking about exactly your question, and we'll answer all of that. I like to think that they were out in the backyard drying their clothes and they saw the clothespins. I'm gonna get in trouble for Monitor Audio for that one forever, but yeah, they're like hi-fi clothespins. Not that I want to get in trouble, but they certainly don't sound like it. They are incredible, without a doubt. So here we are with the Focal Grand Utopia speakers. These are beyond phenomenal. I can say without a doubt that they sounded incredible. I have a number of different clips I might be able to play for you if I am able to load the folder. I don't want to cover up too much of my screen here. Audio stuff. I may be able to get a clip in here and share from my folder. You guys are into clips like that. Let me just sample something. There we go. I'll be able to clip that. Okay, so give me a minute. I'll be able to share my tab just to get some sound in here. Hopefully not to monetize anything, but let me share this one. Stop screen. Hello, welcome to my face. Share window, share tab. Here's a tab. I guess I didn't share with sound, did I? No. This live thing, this is amazing about doing it live. I want to be able to share audio, share a tab instead. Window, Chrome tab, this one. Yes. So now I'm sharing the tab. You should be able to hear the audio. Here is a clip of the system that was playing. I am only going to play a couple of seconds of this because it gets dinged for copyright every time it's playing. It should not be much louder than my voice, so brace, and I'll give you a sample. Oh, that sounds distorted on my end. Does anybody else have that crunchy sound? I can hear it on my end, and that sounds gross. I apologize. Anyways, that was my attempt at sharing sound, but for whatever reason, this app doesn't want to give clean audio, so that is terrible. We'll stick to still images. How about that? Does everybody agree? I can't always do everything here. Sometimes these apps don't like to get along, so I'll get back to doing still images instead, and we'll talk about whatever it is that we need to talk about. Actually, I'll keep the format like this. Yes, so Grand Utopias were amazing. They haven't been in Canada for, I think it was almost 12 years. Some of the reps were saying that they hadn't had them on display for a long time. And they actually sounded really great. They did a great job setting them up. The Focal name guys are amazing. Ian is a really skilled showman as well as audiophile, setting up everything. The whole room was actually designed and set up from the beginning to end by Ed, the owner of EQ Audio. Maybe his team was part of that as well. I know some of that conversation was not fully disclosed, but shout out to Ed and the team at EQ Audio for setting up the space. The Grand Utopias were definitely a highlight for visitors and guests of the 2023 Toronto Audiofest. Showcasing there, actually, outside of that room, was a headphone bar, and this new brand, TAudio, was definitely a highlight. A lot of people stopped by. They were doing like alcohol swabs for each of the tips, so you could actually sample them and listen to them. It wasn't just a matter of static display where you normally can't sample IEMs, but the people at EQ Audio thought of doing these demos for people because this brand has now come to the market and they are on sale at the store. So they brought alcohol swabs and had a cleaning situation going on so they could actually sample them and demo them for people at the show. Turned out really great. There's a nice snapshot of the room, the Acoustics room that was right beside EQ Audio. They had one of those ghosty type of projectors there beside the system. I don't know how often this was used, but definitely when the lights went down. There's another shot of the TAudios. The thumbnail for this video, this was me on actually Thursday night. There's VTV talking about the TAudios. Yeah, they're very pretty. They're actually like an epoxy sort of covering coating where you can get them in a lot of different colors, a lot of different finishes. So that's a really cool thing that you can have them to affect like match with any kinds of fashions that you have. So I really appreciate that about the brand. I'm really into customizing. Anything that you can customize or have in a color that matches your outfit or fashions or whatever, because both shape, color, and all those things can change your mood, can affect your mood, and we can get into this kind of feel when we wear things that either match or complement certain colors. Or sometimes it's just a matter of attention. If people say, hey, like, oh, those look really cool, and you get a compliment that day, then that can change your day. And then, you know, it's all part of being human as well as an audio music lover. So there's a couple of shots around the space. You can see the treatment all in the background, the name statement amps there in the middle. Again, the Hyphen system from the back corner. This is another shot of the group, the first couple of groups on the Friday listening to the system. The EQ Audio staff standing around just watching. Another shot with our buddies there. There's Ian in the front and our buddy Ed standing off to the side here. Matt standing at the front. Some of our reps are probably in the other rooms. But yes, as the show got going, there were a lot of people in this room because, like I said, the Grand Utopias hadn't been in Canada for a number of years and was definitely something to experience. They sound like concert-level speakers. Very loud, very capable. It's one of the front rooms at EQ. In the adjacent room, there was a display from Tricell Enterprises, which is actually kind of like a distributor here in Ontario, where they were showcasing a lot of other products. I don't know the names of everything, so I know that fans are going to crucify me for not knowing everything in my videos, but to be honest, that's just the way it is. There's so much stuff here that I didn't do like full diligence on all of the research ahead of this video. I just want to be able to showcase the photography and the spaces. So I don't know the names of everything. The panels in the back, the wood slat panels, were actually really great. These audio vector speakers were really awesome. I got a demo with those recently at EQ Audio. And then my favorite thing to do is to capture audio files in the wild, is what I call it. So here is a section called Audio Files in the Wild, where they get curious and they want to have a closer look at what everything is to the point where they can probably smell the connection from this point. Now, I don't mean to embarrass anybody, but you have to kind of admit, when we're doing stuff like this in person, in public, like, I understand we want to know certain details, and sometimes the only option you have is to get down on your hands and knees and take a look. So that's my section called Audio Files in the Wild. Later on, we will see a couple more shots. I had to do one without anybody in the shot, of course, because, you know, integrity, and it looks better. So here's the system from the other angle. The Vinnie Rossi amps in the front. I've got a couple of shots of those on my media. If you don't know, then please follow along. I have a lot more content on Instagram and Facebook from reels and videos and sound demos and clips, so please, under the same name. You can follow along with all my other content on Facebook and Instagram with the same name. You won't miss anything. If you don't follow all three, because I'm not on YouTube that much, you might miss something. So I don't want to say that you're missing out, but at the same time, there is a lot of other content there. And if you want to see it, that's where you have to find it. It's another system there, synergistic research on the floor. I don't know what the turntable's called, but it looks beautiful. I have an adoration for good craftsmanship, things that look pretty. I have an aesthetic appeal, or I appreciate aesthetic appeal to things. So that's kind of why, or part of what I like to do with my photography, is take photos that showcase a different view or perspective on what we're looking at, and try to bring out whatever beauty or aesthetic there are to things. Yes, definitely appreciate turntables. They're classic, they're reliable. You won't get your stream turned off if you have vinyl playing. That's definitely something that we can appreciate about vinyl, is that companies that get either bankrupt or go through problems like MQA or Zdo recently, they're not going to be able to turn your music off. As long as you have vinyl, you just put your record on and that's it. You enjoy your music and go about your day. Some tube amps from Fez. It looks like it's called Fez. That sounds interesting. It's really dusty. The plexiglass covers on here are really dusty. So one of my favorites are these hi-fi jewelry from D'Agostino Master Systems. Really, really pretty looking stuff. This was in the Toronto Acoustics room. As we can see, the one thing that throws me off from these photos are the green tape on the floor. Now, I understand why it's used. The green tape is there as a reference in the space for where they belong. If you're going to move them where they sound best, it's a reference point for setup. However, I think once the show is going, that can probably get removed. Now, I know that it's busy and people are doing lots of things and they don't always have time to follow up, but it's one thing that I notice that shows in big rooms, at least, sometimes they don't remove the tape. Now, that takes away nothing from the display. That's nothing against the show organizers or room presenters. Just something to note that they use not electric tape, but painter's tape on the carpet, just to reference where speakers sound best from day to day, so they know where to move things from, where their last test was located, that kind of thing. It's a good idea because it's not that sticky and easily removable, so you can just take the tape off the floor. But for photography purposes, I wasn't going to go in and Photoshop the tape out, honestly. I was just going to shoot it as is because that's real life. I'm not about presenting things that are in perfect order because it's not. Things are not perfect. We just do our best. So, continuing with our section of audiophiles in the wild, here's another gentleman trying to see how much the cabinet vibrates, even though they're made out of solid granite. I thought it was cute, and I understand what they're doing, but I don't think that there's much point to try and feel resonance in the cabinet through granite, because these really don't resonate at all. Now, maybe the amps were hot. I understand the thinking process to check to see if the amps are warm. I do believe that's an old school time thing. That's an old school thing. So, I mean, hey, I'm not going to argue with you there. In audio, I don't know why it's all that necessary, but I mean, it is a sensory experience. So if you want to touch, then touch. Just don't taste it. I don't think that vendors are going to appreciate somebody putting their taste buds on their equipment. So look, but don't touch. But if you're going to touch, don't taste it. So the Accor room was set up very nice, very popular. Lots of people coming through. It was great to see everybody enjoying the show. Lots of people here. My buddy Jonathan standing here from Sonic Artistry, who provided the turntable, which I actually looked through all my photos and I realized that I actually don't even have photos of this amazing turntable. But Audiophile Junkie covered the room and did a closer and deeper dive on a lot of products. Now, he's been in the industry a lot. I believe that he works with dealers, so he knows a lot about products, and it's nice that we have people in the community that can talk about different avenues of our hobby here. So PMA Magazine was signing up and giving out ice cream at the show. This was really cool. I got to spend some time out here throughout the weekend. Win Audio was on deck to display their system with Toronto Acoustics and TAudio acoustics, TAudio loudspeakers. These are the Akira models. You can see the badging on the side here. These are phenomenal. This room actually sounded really great. I was honored to have a demo with Win himself. He was on hand to showcase the system, talk about products in the line, gave me all the details that I need. I've been in communication with Win Audio about maybe borrowing some stuff. Some of the cables that are in here are from Hyphen Acoustics. They're an Italian brand of cables, new to Win Audio, available in Canada through distribution. I'm in talks to maybe check some of them out. Now, to be honest, a lot of the cables that are in these systems are way above and far beyond my budget for any reasonable circumstances at this point. Now, I may be able to hear the difference, but paying for them flat out is not in the cards. I actually took a photo of myself in the reflection. Check this out. What a silly man. So the cables, let's move on. Don't check out the shoes. Hyphen Acoustics from Italy. They're really nice cables. If I get a chance to borrow them, then I will do my absolute best to talk about what they provide in terms of difference. I've got cables I can afford now, and the biggest question to a lot of people is, do cables make a difference, and what differences do they make? I will say, honestly, I've heard a difference in the way that I've connected things, but I haven't really A/B'd any cables, so it would be nice to actually have quality high-end cables on hand so that I can actually demo them and give my honest opinion on what differences, if any differences, they made. The Akira, if anybody knows the Akira lore from anime, these are awesome. I would love to have a pair of these, even for just that reason. Aside from them sounding amazing, there's lore to it, so always a pleasure to see and hear the system from Win Audio. It's fantastic stuff. Really, really great system. Goldman was another system that I got a chance to hear. I believe the show report for these will be coming out shortly. I know that it was submitted. However, whenever they get edited or approved, there's a lot of details with equipment, pricing. You want to double check and not publish anything that's a mistake. So there's a process with bringing these out to the world. But the system was amazing. It's very real and natural. I listened to a Louis Armstrong track with this system, and it was like the man was performing in front of me. It was really, really nice. Super expensive stuff. You're talking about like a $40,000 CD player. Like, this stuff is not at all in reasonable budgets. But does it work? Does it sound fantastic? Yes, 100%. Goldman stuff sounds amazing. The system was fantastic. Mono blocks. They have grounding blocks in the back there. Preamp system set up. External power supply, I believe, is in the bottom there. External power supply for the preamp. The CD player on top. Amazing stuff. Sounded great. So moving on, my friend Mark, audio by Mark Jones, they had this room set up here. This was really nice. I believe these are the Clarisis panels, and I don't remember what the electronics are. I was playing vinyl throughout the weekend. The room sounded really, really great. It's all wired with AudioQuest cables. Like the banner shows there. I mean, this is a show. This is a showcase. This is what people do. All these brands show up because they want to give a chance for music lovers to hear this equipment live and give them a more interest in order to maybe buy them. Same for Moon by Sim Audio. I got a chance to talk with Costa and another rep from the brand. I don't remember his name right now, which is so terrible of me. They were showcasing their new North series, which are the components in the middle, preamp, streamer, power amp on the side, with the Bowers & Wilkins D800 series D4s. The diffusion panels in the back, if you see behind the speakers here, these are blocks of foam that come in 2 foot by 2 foot panels, and they pile them up this way to diffract the sound from the back. So what diffraction does, as a brief explanation for anybody who doesn't know, is it scatters the sound. So instead of it being a flat surface where all the energy is bounced back in an even pattern, diffusion breaks up the energy and separates how the energy bounces off. So it dissipates how much energy is displayed or reflected, and it actually lowers but not eliminates the sound energy in the room. It's useful for maintaining sound energy, but not for interference in the room. So diffusion is definitely a critical thing to have in a space. Nice to see them behind the towers. North Series has got a really incredible Bluetooth remote control. It's really awesome. I showcased that at a previous show. You will have to follow along with my other content. I'll put this up here again. More content on all of my Instagram and Facebook stories and reels and posts. If you don't follow along the account with the same name, some of the other material will be shared there periodically. I'll go back to there's the full system there. I find that, and I was suggested to do photos with people in the shots, because for whatever reason, instead of it being a static shot where it's just equipment, having a person in the shot offers like a relation to system size, scale, something like that. I don't know exactly. But anyhow, I try to get people in the shots because that's what the show is all about, people coming to listen. On the other side there, they had the Moon Audio Voice 22 speakers, which they make. The Dolly Acoustics, Dolly speakers. So Danish Audio Loudspeaker Industries, Dolly, D-A-L-I. We're showcasing their Epicor 11 towers with NAD this year, thank God. They were really, really nice. I was able to get in and talk with the reps a bunch. Really nice to catch up with them. But because I was working, I didn't get as much of a chance to talk with them. And that's the downside to working at audio shows as opposed to just visiting the audio shows, is you have to divide your time between what you have to shoot and what you have to do as a work thing and what you're enjoying in terms of like personal and curiosity and that kind of thing. The Boris Acoustics and Audio Group Denmark room, they are actually displaying in Warsaw this weekend. I've been keeping up with their stuff. These are the X2 towers from Boris Acoustics. They are the lowest entry point model as of now. They are 8,800 USD, which is really awesome. They're a deep, narrow, thin, glossy carbon fiber accent tower. 2 4.5-inch woofers. I believe that's the actual diaphragm size, maybe not the basket size, with the same ribbon tweeter from many of their models, different motor structure, but same tweeter. Elegant. Absolutely love these speakers. They are incredible. Narrow to the back. They're slim, curved cabinets, very dense, very rigid. They project bass like almost nothing else from 2 small drivers. Unbelievable value for these speakers. I'm a fan, so of course I'm a little bit biased, but their design format speaks to me very well, and they are extremely capable, even if I didn't like them. Or even if I wasn't a fan, they would still be very capable. This model, the X2, was a step down from the X3 so that you could actually position it closer to a wall, smaller spaces, and more fans could actually get away with enjoying the speakers. Carmen says, I was at the show last week and overall it was good. That's awesome. Glad and thank you for joining. That's great to hear. It was a great show. There were lots of things to see and hear. This was the first time that Audio Group Denmark was actually in Canada to display. They were at Expona. They do often display at Capital Audio Fest, Pacific Audio Fest, Florida Audio Fest. They're at the show in California, so it's great to see them in Canada, so I don't actually have to fly to the States to enjoy their system. So it was an incredible time catching up with Peter Hansen, the North American sales rep. So here's a speaker system and shot from Harken Audio. Now, I don't know what the speakers are exactly or the turntable, but the turntable's quite gorgeous. It was actually really amazing to see some of this stuff. Now, I'm a huge audio fan, and I do appreciate what vinyl offers, but in terms of mechanics and setup, I'm not the most patient person. So when it comes to setting up, like this turntable, this specific one, has 2 tone arms, and I'm not sure why you would need 2 tone arms on a turntable. Maybe somebody can update me in the comments later on if you see this, why turntables have 2 tone arms. You're not going to use them at the same time. I mean, maybe you could, but is it for ease of using different cartridges? You don't have to switch a cartridge for a different type of recording. Is it for the different speeds in cartridges? I don't even know. I don't understand how a lot of turntable stuff works, which I guess as an audio person might be embarrassing, but I'm not from that era, so specialists in turntables can tell you more about why this stuff looks this way, because I don't have any idea. Yeah, scrolling on, that was still the Harken Audio Room. This is a Western Electric tube amplifier. Amazing. I mean, I saw it at the back of the room and thought I would get this shot. And I just want to point out something about the photography. It may not be the best shot that I have done, but I want to showcase this. I put the frame on this photo after the fact, but I want you to take a look at how even the top of this amplifier is to the line on the border. Like, that is almost flush and flat. It's a little bit off here. It's a little bit tighter here. But as a photographer, that's what I'm aiming for. I am trying to... I can't get it to zoom out again. I'm trying to line things up like that so that these photos are not just point and shoot. I'm genuinely trying to line things up in such a way that makes them a little more interesting. So Mirage is Mirage Bryce and 2 Canadian brands of hi-fi. I know that's a fake name, but I know where they're from, so kudos to that. So this was my first show and loved every minute of it. See, that's what I like to hear from fans and audio goers and guests, is this kind of positive experience from a Canadian show for locals. And I'm glad that people are actually going to shows more often, because that is the real genuine way to experience it. I mean, unless you're visiting shops that give you a demo, audio shows are a really great way where you get to hear a lot of it and bring your friends and talk about it together. So it's similar to like visiting a live music concert and talking with your friends about what you just experienced. Audio hi-fi shows are very similar to that, and it's worth being able to visit anywhere local. Now, I know they're scattered throughout the country, and we can't always travel far distances in order to experience audio shows, but it's definitely worth it. And two out of the 3 viewers that are watching are sharing their positive experiences. That's pretty awesome. VTV saying, I have an answer for the turntable if you'd like, but I think you got it already. I may have, I think with my guess of having like 2 speeds on the 2 speeds or 2 cartridges on the turntable, that it's easier to switch and swap. But I mean, they're different types of tone arms as well, so you get different sounds. So yeah, go ahead, give us an answer. I'm gonna look it up anyways and find out from any of the professionals that I know what they think or what their reason is. I'm new to it, so I don't have any idea. This is just my guess based on how the equipment works. Here is a shot that I kind of didn't intend to be part of my album, but it's part of the album. Oh, Okay, let's see. Well, here's the answer. That seems like, is this Google? The main reason for having two-tone harms or more in your setup is to make less hassle switching up cartridges. If you're a beginner, you're not likely to need... Yes, there you go. So I was right. Without going to Google, without asking a professional, just by using my head and knowledge from audio, then yes, there we go. I am as smart as Google. Do I get to retain my specialist or professional audiophile status yet? So Elite Audio was showcasing the Triangle Cello, Magellan Cello model speakers with Perot integrated amp. Now, very gorgeous finish. Very gorgeous. I really appreciate that. I will say one thing, though. I do appreciate a uniformed look to speakers, so I don't like the chrome finishes. I mean, black mid-range, black accents, black plinth, but you've got this really high contrasty aluminum finish on everything else. Now, why not make all that black? Why does it have to be so high contrasty? I don't really know what the idea there is. A lot of brands do this, especially with their woofer hardware and tweeter hardware. I don't like it. I love the wood finish, but if you made all the hardware black, I think it would look better. I don't even like chrome. I don't like chrome accents on things. I like things being as uniform looking as possible most times. Here's a shot from the Kennedy Hi-Fi room, the Focal Tiva series. These are the new ones. I think the Vestias are also in there. Vestias are on the end. I think Tivas are in the middle. They were showcasing ISO Acoustics display in this room. Here's some of the Nordos stuff that they have on display. Mid-Range Magic, I believe, is a brand, not really a shop. I just thought I would get shots of as many rooms as possible. Really nice looking speakers. It's really inset into the baffle, so I guess that's for time alignment, but I don't know a whole lot about the brand. So I believe they're using a dome for a mid-range here. You can see that there's a tweeter on the top, which is typical, and a secondary dome in the middle. I believe the middle dome is doing mid-range because of how quick a low-mass driver can move, similar to what Monitor Audio is using in the Hyphens, and similar to what Tectonic Designs uses in their concentric array. They're using domes for mid-range at higher frequencies instead of a large cone because of its low mass and its ability to move faster and create more accurate sound waves. The gentleman in the bow tie and the hat like tops it all off. It's an amazing experience. Quite fun. Class A Audio and Bowers and Wilkins. This was a really great room. They had this like herbal cinnamon something smell in this room, and what a treat that is. I walked in and it just hit me in the face. I thanked the guy. I was like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but whatever it is amazing. This room smells awesome. So it was nice to get a visual of the space. I guess that's my favorite shot there. It looks like more like a magazine. Yeah, so it was like sensory overload. You had this really great smell, really great sound, really great look. The finish on these speakers is phenomenal. I love that burl. It's a California burl finish. What else to say about it? It's just a really great finish. You don't get to see this very often. Wired in Kimber cable. Shout out to Kimber cable. Hopefully I can get my hands on some of that soon. Class A Audio Delta series preamp and power amps. Really great room. Had some fun in here. The 60, I think these are the 603s version 7 or series 7 or S7s, I believe they are. These have the new tweeter mid-range position, so they're the mid-range and tweeter are closer together, and they actually tune down the tweeter a little bit so they're a little more better behaved. Apparently, the S6 series was very bright. Most people said that they had too much harsh details. And there we go. There's some Kimber Cable love right there. Shout out to Kimber Cable. I met with the reps over the weekend. I speak with their marketing person on Instagram all the time. Great bunch of guys. I talked to Don, who got an award at an award for like a lifetime achievement award at the Audiofest this year. A really great moment. If you guys haven't seen any of that, look for Toronto Audiofest 2023 coverage, Audiophile Junkie, as well as Bad Monkey Finger, as well as a number of others that have taken clips and videos. Audio Excellence also did some coverage on award ceremonies. Really, really great moments. Don got an award, and Don is one of the Kimber Cable representatives for this area in Canada. So shout out to Don. Really great time. Denon and Definitive Technology. Now, if you guys don't know, that's all part of the Massimo family. All of these rooms together. This was Marantz and Bowers and Wilkins, Class A and B&W. Then you have Definitive and Denon all together. Really great room. Shout out to James. Really nice to see him again at all of these shows. Shout out to, I want to say, Allison as well. Thank you for the conversation that we had and showcasing some things. It was really awesome. Denon as well. There's the preamp, the integrated amp with the CD player streamer. Is it a CD streamer or streamer only? I can't tell from this angle. It looks like a streamer only because I don't see a CD tray. Kimber Cable Love on the back end. Really nice cables. I've been a fan of Kimber Cable forever because of their longevity. They were one of the first brands I remember giving us an option for style and looks. Like I wasn't familiar with very many brands back in the day, but Kimber was number one for me. The braided look, the multicolors, the red and black here suits my needs perfectly. Most of my friends will know that I like red and black. So here's Zidell. Zidell Hi-Fi. I don't remember the exact name. Oh my God, he's going to kill me. Rich, don't be mad. I'm sorry. So, yeah, we have the MoFi Source Point 10, Source Point 8. I don't know what this tube amp is, but this thing was funky and cool looking. Wharfdale, I believe there's a Wharfdale Lintons with a custom stand. The MoFi preamp here for the turntable. I'm pretty sure it's a vinyl preamp. The Rose Hi-Fi, I believe this is the 130. Really cool. I came in to see this one. This is awesome. And then this, yes, phono preamplifier. See, my memory does work. I remember being at this show. I'm certain I was at this show. I took these photos, but it was last weekend, so forgive me. Turntable on top there. Again, this is just more like an art type of photo. I'm not all that knowledgeable with phono stage or turntables, the technology in general, what to look for, what to photograph. However, I am learning because I find that some of the clients want detailed photos of their cartridges or turntables or tone arms or mechanisms. So now, by way of experience, I'm starting to work with brands and retailers to showcase more of what the turntables offer because clients and people and fans really want to know these things. So I need to learn to adjust my style in order to adapt to what people want. Now, I believe these are new Cerwin Vegas. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe they're a new series for them. That's really cool that they have new stuff coming out. As many fans will know, Cerwin Vega is one of the classic brands in hi-fi. Now, I don't know that I can really get away with calling them hi-fi. No offense to Cerwin Vega, but if you want really nice, quality, loud volume for your music at home without too much worry, Cerwin Vega will cover you 100%. Also, KLH here in the background, Canadian-made speakers. Really nice to see. Emotiva was on hand in Toronto for the first time. They did showcase at Montreal Audiofest. It was in March, so I got to meet them in March. Then we met again at Expona in April. That was an incredible experience. They are actually off at Warsaw in Poland for the audio show this weekend, which is really awesome. I got a chance to talk with Kathy and Dan and Jake and Lonnie about the company, a lot of the products that are available, as well as their distribution now in Canada. So if you're in Canada and you order, you can get your products directly from within Canada, which means shipping is faster, shipping is cheaper, service to any of the units are cheaper and faster, so that's awesome. Canadian distribution is a real thing for Emotiva now. Definitely check that out. They're another great option for theater as well as hi-fi. This 2-channel system set up in this room was actually really, really nice. Now, it's integrated with a CD player or a streamer. Very, very simple system. You're going to be able to get a really nice sound. Maybe not the best style per se. They're very simple black boxes with angles, you know, so it's not what those Bowers and Wilkins look like, but they will get the job done. If you're doing theater, it's perfect because they're a matte finish. Definitely something to consider in terms of theater use. A couple of different artful shots here. Trying out some new things with photography. I think it turned out well. If you guys like the photos, let me know. I think they turned out well. But I don't want to shout and toot my own horn. I would rather let other people let me know what they think. That way the feedback is valuable and I can change and adjust as I go. Gershman Acoustics with Past Labs, really great room. Got wire it looks like they're using here. This is was a bit new to me. I'm not familiar with the brand, but definitely wanted to stop by and capture what I can. Looks like a Lumen streamer. Past Labs power amps on the bottom. Great sounding room. I appreciated being able to see these again. Yeah, definitely a Lumen streamer there. I'm not sure what the CD player is there. That looks like the logo for TAudio. I could be wrong, but I could also be right. Just trying to recognize everything by the looks of it. It can get a little tricky unless I'm zoomed in. Recognizing things by the shape or style, or I mean, you have to be quite experienced or familiar with things in order for that to work. This one on the end, this might be a Cirrus audio device. If not, then it's got me stumped. The logo looks a little bit big for Cirrus, and if I zoom in, it won't be clear enough. But should we try it? The Nico? Could be a Nico. So I'm discovering things about my own photos here. Moving on, Fine Audio was at the Gramophone room. Very, very pretty looking speakers. I actually really, really like the white ones. I'm drawn to this style. There's something unique about this that I really appreciate. This is a leather wrapped circular tube that protrudes from the white cabinet, so that's really elegant. It is like a mini horn loaded tweeter with a mid-range woofer around it. I mean, this is a classic look. I know one of our buddies, Scotty, Audio Acoustic Engineering, has something close to this. He has a Tannoy model that are large. He's a big fan of these. Fine Audio is a brand that developed after Tannoy, from what I understand. Curved cabinets, nice finish, nice leather. I really like these white ones. This is one of my favorite sort of looking bookshelf speakers at the show. They have an attunement type of dial here. Now, I don't know what this is for. I never asked what it was for. I could look it up, but I never asked at the show. I met up with my buddy Philip, who now works at American Sound of Canada, and they displayed these really, really cool speakers here. They have like a metal grill, the metal hardware on the sides looked awesome. I think this room was really well done, really neat looking build, very industrial looking metal. They had roses on the floor that actually made the room smell like roses. I really think that's an Angie touch. Angie is the owner of American Sound, and I got to meet with her Friday during the day, and Friday was really awesome. The room smelled like roses. So I mean, what else can you say? Like that's a really nice touch, not for anything else. I mean, they're boring hotel rooms. If you can spice it up with something beautiful like roses and the smell, why not? Like that's a great touch. They have Audio Research tube amplifier here. I'm not sure what the preamp is. This looks like a DSC. Could be a DSC streamer DAC, if I had to guess. Oh, look at that. It's a DCS, so I got the letters wrong. I'm dyslexic. It was a good guess. Something about my my memory, I guess. I was in this room, so maybe my mind is like, oh, I know what it is. Now these Corby's Audio and Coherent speakers. Frank was on hand to showcase these speakers. These are like 15-inch woofers with, I think that's a 12 with a 3-inch compression driver in the middle, using the two amps on the side there. Amazing. Such a smooth sound. I have clips of audio of this too, but because of the software, I'm not going to be able to showcase it. So sorry about that. I'll have to load them online again. I'm going to put it up here if you guys don't know. More content on my Instagram and Facebook Reels for any of the audio clips, because YouTube doesn't like copyright music. So if you're going to hear a clip of any of the music, you're going to need to visit the Instagram account with the same name in order to hear samples of the sounds. Just to put it out there. Yeah, they look like oak trees. Yeah, for real. They're really tall. They're easily 9 feet tall. Easily 9 feet tall. And they sounded amazing. Like, there's something special about this concentric driver. Sensitive and expressive. Tube amps kept them neutral. Yeah, it was really nice. These Canta series focals in the back room, musical fidelity. See, if we go back to the beginning of the stream, you see I was trying to put this logo in the middle of that picture, and I was covering up this banner with the structure of the other speakers. That's what I was talking about. Some fans there admiring the statement amps and the panels. We're coming up to almost the end of my shots. There's monitor audio there. That's the new black series, of the black, not black series, but black finish. The difference between this series and the previous finishes, the white comes with aluminum colored cones. I think it's an ebony or whatever the other finish is. They have aluminum colored cones, diaphragms, and the black has black colored diaphragms. Almost the same black. It's not quite, but it is black. It's not as silver as the other two models. Now, I'm not sure why they don't offer the black with some of the other models. That's just something that exists right now. I wouldn't mind because it looks more uniform. The high contrast doesn't interest me. But I'm not an engineer. I'm not a designer. I don't work there, so I have no say in the matter. It's one of my attempts at an artful shot. Really great sounding speakers. These Platinum 200G, 3G or G3 or whatever they are, two Platinum 200s, are really good. Sounded really amazing. Even on the system where they're using the integrated amp. I think that's the... Oh my God, Rotel, don't be mad at me. It's not the P5 because that's a preamp. So this would be the... Oh my goodness, the C5? I don't remember what the designation is for integrated. Since it's not an i5, that would make too much sense. There's a 3 and a 5. The 3 is the smaller one, the 5 is the bigger one. The P is a preamp. I don't know what the integrated amp is. Anyhow, so they're playing on the integrated amp. Really solid build. I think there's a shot of the system from above. There's a name Classics there. I believe these are the 300 series. They're new to the show, so the system was set up to showcase the name series. All in white now, so the green lights and logos will be no more. From what I understand, they're phasing that kind of look and style out. There's a copy of that other shot. The Core Acoustics again. This is the Saturn Audio Room. I got to speak with a gentleman there for quite a while about technology and bringing education to people and being able to showcase technologies with an audience. Really, really great stuff. Very, very deep experience. He was talking to me about the industry and business. And during this conversation with this gentleman, it dawned on me when I was speaking with him that what we were talking about could be something that we could enjoy in a video format if I got permission to record the conversation with him, that I could play it on YouTube, that I can share the stories and share the insights of these guys that have been in the business for 30, 40 years. That way the industry gets to hear what they have to say. Now, when I was in the conversation, I didn't want to stop and say, hey, can we talk about this again? Can I record it? But it made me realize maybe next year I can do this in a video format instead of just a photo reel. That way I get to capture the room, I get to talk to the people, much the same way that some others have done videos in their content. Audiophile Junkie's #1. I don't want to copy his thing, but both of us think very similarly around shows and how to do it and simplicity of editing. The whole thing is, if I do videos, I won't be able to do photos like this. I won't be hands-free to do the photo content. So I'm going to have to make a decision on how to do both. It was really nice to talk with him, and they had some nice stuff here. Corby's Audio also, they represented in a number of rooms. Alta Audio speakers, really, really nice stuff. Trying to capture as much as I can from the adjacent rooms, the EQ audio rooms, the setups there. There's a moment that the panels were set up. These are really, really nice. Really great bass from, I don't know what I think they're electrostatic panels. They don't look like planar panels. Really, really good stuff. And then at the end of the night, this was at the end of Friday, our first day, we got a little creative with photography, and some of the gentlemen in the Prohibition event, which was a whiskey pairing event, they had some of these bottles going around, and this stuff is really classic, rare, expensive whiskey. So I decided to put it in some photos. So here we go. This is one of the photography shots that I worked on towards the end of the show on Friday that made it into the finals. This is really cool. I had a professional photographer give me some advice on how to shoot. So these photos got a little bit experimental, and this is what we came up with after the fact, after I got some coaching from a professional photographer. The bottle's leaning a little bit to the left. That's not just the speaker going up to the right, but the bottle's leaning a little bit, and I'm not all that happy with it. But in the limited amount of time that I had, somebody left their drink on the floor. That's the best that I could do. And then I met with David, who represents for Cobuzz, and he was inspired by this shot and thought, hey, could you do some magic and get another shot? And that's what we come up with. I tried a number of different angles, trying to make it look nice. I think this is the final result that I'm happy with. And that's the end of my photos for day 1. So does anybody have any questions? Vel's been here for the whole time. People have been coming in and out, which is awesome. I can see that there's a guest count, and it's not been too high. I think maybe I'm a little bit early on a Saturday. I will scroll through my photos from day 3, and we can do a little bit of talk about those. Open with preview. Let me just adjust my thing here. It's been a bit of a day. I did some sound demos today. I felt guilty because my audio system at home has been off for a long time. But you know what it is. Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that. It's the couple of shots at the end were coached by a professional photographer who was at the show, who was nice enough to show me a little bit of angle, a mix of zooming and how to crop and focus in on certain aspects. Where my earlier shots, you could see the ceiling in the top. Now that's a little bit ununiform in the back behind me, but that's just the way it is. In a photography setting, what they were describing was using lighting to accent from behind and from the side, as well as trying to shoot at a certain distance to eliminate the ceiling in some shots. Now, if you haven't taken photography and you don't know much about it, a lot of the stuff is just locked up in the know-how. It's experience. So after some coaching, it turned out pretty good. So I appreciate the vote of confidence there. Let me see. Share window. Add to stage. So here we go. This is the last. This is day 3, so I went back to see Emotiva a little bit, talked about some of the products here, some additional shots of their equipment. They have a whole sort of like DAC CD player, 2-channel DAC preamp CD player, 2-channel amp. This is a full system all in right there, and you can see that each unit is under $700 each, except for the amp, which looks like $21.99 US. You can have a whole system of stuff that's balanced and very capable for not very much. Really appreciate what they're doing. The outdoor speakers are fairly new. The Volta speaker, all with the Italian sort of name and culture in the background. Yeah, these are outdoor speakers. They're very weatherproof. They'll handle Canadian weather, so that's awesome. A couple of other art shots here. Charisma Audio. This room was set up so amazing. I mean, look at this. They have the diffusion panels besides. They have panels on the left and right of the speakers there. Those the back shot, the backdrop, the back banners. The side, they have the paper walls. Even the carpet in this room was provided by the retailer. They brought carpet to cover the whole room because the laminate floor was absolutely terrible. So there's Bernard there standing in the corner. Bernard Lee, I believe his name is. What an incredible room. This is one of the most amazing small rooms that I saw in the whole show. I did some justice. I wanted to get some more shots of the system. He's playing reel-to-reel to the system at the front. It was really, really nice. Really incredible sort of experience because the room sounded great. They spent the time to make the room sound amazing. So shout out to Charisma Audio here in Ontario for setting up this room correct and doing it the right way. I mean, honestly, giving guests a quality experience that not many rooms would have considered. Bringing their own carpet, that's phenomenal. Give them all the credit in the world. Here it is, a BAT. I don't know what, it's probably a preamp if I'm honest, if not an integrated amp. And I believe this is a new showcase. I didn't quite get much time with this item, but it was on a list of launched items this year. So it's really cool that they're able to bring in something brand new to showcase like this. I wanted to give it a little bit of attention. Again, with the Wharfdales and the Rose Audio. So went back another day on the third day and was able to capture what the speakers look like with the grill off. So there we have grill on with the included stands and then the grill off. Very nice sounding, neutral, warm, easy to listen to. Probably play these for hours a day, no problem. So here's another interesting sort of brand, Fleetwood, an OMA brand. I believe a Fleetwood is the speaker model. The ones at the far right are a new model. The ones on the left are an existing model. I don't know a whole lot about it other than they're real wood cabinets, real wood tweeter horn. Very smooth sounding, very intimate. Because of the waveguide, the tweeter is able to project all of the sensitivity, and it sounds phenomenal. That's a really great feature for tweeters, in my opinion. That's the kind of sound that I like, is detail retrieval. The more articulate and more detailed retrieval you can get from a speaker, the better, without it stepping into harsh, shrill, or crisp, where all the notes have too much edge to them. Now, they are playing on Acouphase. There's the same MoFi preamp. I recognize it even at this distance, the Phono preamp. So that's really cool. Acouphase is pretty awesome stuff. I mean, I was listening on the PMC. There's a PMC PS Audio room that has the Acouphase A80 amp in it, and what an experience. Really great details, smooth sounding, Class A audio. Class A audio amp. I mean Class A amp type, not Class A audio the brand. Artist Cloner's another great experience here with this beryllium tweeter, ScanSpeak drivers. That's a stone slate finished composite cabinet. It's layers. There's layers of material inside. It's finished in a thin slate. Beside the one in the main focus is the Mini 2.5 tower. Now they're front ported individual chambers, and it's the same type of character, quality of sound, but less of it. Now the tweeter's different, but even in room, the quality of the sound was just a matter of reducing the amount of output into a smaller footprint, closer to a wall, better for a condo, that kind of thing. That was the objective here that they were going for. Really fantastic looking speakers. I actually really, really love them. I spent a lot of time taking photos in this room, trying to get it exactly right, something I could really appreciate. The shadow on the side of the cabinet there is from a 360 camera, so I imagine they captured everybody coming into the room. If we see back in the distance, if you guys can see what's going on here, this photo at the back, this is actually my photo from Montreal that they made a poster of. You can see my name in the bottom here. So at Montreal, I was able to visit and take a number of photos of the room. And before this show, I sent over high-res photos of that high-res versions of the photos, and they ended up making a poster of my photo for their room. So my artwork is now in more artwork, so I'm being represented here in the most respectful way that I have ever been represented. And yeah, agree. Thank you. It's something I'm getting used to, that my artwork is getting around and appreciated in this way. But to see it in this kind of way is that's something else. To see it represented and repurposed and appreciated in this way is amazing. So shout out to Artist Clone, or Silvio, and his wife, I believe wife. I don't want to assume. My apologies. I don't want to assume. But the lovely lady that accompanies him at shows and helps out, I have to assume is, but I don't want to assume. So forgive me for saying, but thank you to them both. They are great people, really great demos. Really enjoyed that. Here, actually, at Le Studio du Son from Montreal, they were showcasing XTZ speakers as well as their new amps, A300, A400 on hand. This is also the same room that Thomas in Stereo demoed his new TA75 amplifier. There's many videos of that. Again, that's Thomas in Stereo from YouTube, has a new solid state amplifier, the TA75. You'll have to look it up. He's probably not ready for production models or not handing them out yet, but they're on the way. So this was a really cool demo. These speakers are not really available hardly anywhere else, so it's nice to have a vendor show up and talk about these products and allow people at a show the chance to listen to them in person so that they can make informed purchase decisions. Buying speakers blind, like I did with my Arendals, is very risky, but the idea behind buying the Arendals for myself was there were 30 other reviewers and people that measured and talked about them beforehand. So I was confident in my purchase decision because so many other people had sampled them before me. The same kind of thing is going on here, where a store is bringing in a brand like XTZ, where now clients can hear them in store and at shows and gain more confidence in making that purchase decision. Audio is a personal experience. You really can't substitute for that. You need to be able to hear it live in person. So shout out to the studio, really great listening experience, nice speakers, nice sounding, pretty dynamic for theater, pretty good for audio, I gotta say. I mean, the cluster of mid-range domes that they're using, it's a little bit different, but it's very effective. There's the A300, A400 was on the top of the stand. Gershman Acoustics, the Black Swan models. These speakers, I believe, are a 30th anniversary speaker. It's a decoupled bass cabinet with an A-frame structure for the mid-range and the tweeter in their own enclosure. Now, they're jumped at the back with cables. One of my photos went on Facebook recently where Ofra herself took a photo of me taking a photo of them. So again, it's like life imitating art and going back and forth. Very, very appreciative of that. That was actually a surprise that she has that photo. These are really, really nice, smooth. The turntable and everything was amazing. Eon Art amplifiers. I believe they're using monoblocks here from the preamp. A really cool design. The fact that the bass module is separate from the tower means that vibrations from one won't affect the other, and you can adjust it for timing, where you can move the woofer back or move the tower forward in space. Also, that I didn't capture very well, if you look at the very bottom of the speakers here, those are isoacoustic brand footers that are made especially in rose gold for this model for Gershman Acoustics. So that I thought was very special. I had an idea that I offered to Ofra when we had a conversation, which I won't reveal here just in case they decide to go with it, but we'll see what happens. If they make it a definitive no, we're not doing it, maybe I'll tell everybody. But I really like to see the rose gold there. They have a gold sort of motif with their logo, so it sort of matches. It's really nice. This shot here is where I basically got a photo taken of me in room, and that photo was on Facebook. So if you don't follow on Facebook, you don't have the other photos. Not everything gets to YouTube. My apologies. So here's a tone arm. I got basically commissioned to get some shots of. It's a new sort of tone arm mechanism that they're showcasing. Really intricate stuff. There's a lot of stuff with turntables and the mechanisms and the fine tuning. Because it's such a low level electric signal that's coming from the cartridge, you're talking about 400 millivolts at some capacity. That's a very, very small amount to be playing with. So every little thing matters in order to get that sound right. So I appreciate the engineering. Do I have patience to deal with it? Absolutely not. I would rather use a streamer and some hard solid state amps, and that's it. Another shot of the epicores. I got the finish in here. It was really dark in this room, so you couldn't actually see them that well. I spent some time trying to capture more of their product, lining them up, making sure it looks nice, get the brands in there. Sort of my style. I like being able to do that. I don't like point and shoot and then walk away. It looks a little bit lazy, if I'm honest, but that's me, and you know what? No judgment to anybody else. Again, I spent a moment with Mark Jones. Mark Jones, audio by Mark Jones. I got a little tongue-tied. My brain went, is that the right name? Because there's so many Joneses in audio. I almost lost. It's been an hour and almost 20 minutes here streaming live with you guys. I may have to just speed through these last ones to get through all of the shots. That's a CH, I believe, or DH, CH components. Not that familiar with it, to be honest. Here's the headphone bar outside of EQ Audio, another couple of shots. As the sun was coming through the room here, you see this is a timeline. The sun coming through the room on the side, you can see above my head here. I'm pointing above my head. This sun was gleaming in the room, so when I walked in the room, I was able to see the sun off the side of the cabinet and immediately got the shot to show off the wood grain. Now, it's not really that bright in person. It's super dark, but it looks that way because the sun was on it, and I wanted to capture that before I lost the sun. Another couple shots of the panels. I had fun meeting some people at the show, so of course my sense of humor here, where I'm capturing photos of photos, like I'm just being silly. It's part of my personality that people are. Yes, there we go. That's corrected. It's audio by Mark Jones. Right. I present a matter of silly or sarcasm, and I like being including people in things. It's kind of like everything is an inside joke, and my apologies with people who don't know me that well, that they're not familiar with how I joke around, but this is what I mean by joking around. This is kind of like triple layers. Now it's even worse because I have the photo of the backdrop, but then I have a photo of that photo, and now we're doing a video of all of it, so it's actually like tripled. It's really, really sort of layered humor. So my apologies to those that don't know, but welcome to my channel, and I hope you get to know me better soon. Some really classic components here. I believe these are actually Ed's personal collection components that have been collected from buyers and trading and selling and finding online for a long time. So they're very classic musical fidelity items on display here in the room. And I wanted to do them some justice by capturing a little bit more of the units. I believe this is the last photo in the reel. I have one more photo that I would like to share, two more from an album before we get going. I appreciate everybody for showing up. Let me see. Let me double check what these look like before I showcase them. Yes, everything looks good. Okay, so one more photo album. It's only about 7 photos, And that's the major teller of the difference between working for the show and being able to showcase what I want photography wise. I shot 130 photos the first day and only 6 or 7 the second day. That's just how busy I was. There's no time to set up a shot, get the look that you want, be able to get out of the way, and be able to write and do everything for the show reports. It's very difficult to do both. So here we go. This is a couple last shots from the show. Some different angles of the Artist Cloner speakers. These are amazing, as we've talked about. A couple of other shots with the sun coming in the window. There is Silvio himself. I'm sure that I'm getting that name right. If I got that name wrong too, then I am absolutely terrible. Couple shots for the, and so here's the one shot that I wanted to showcase and talk about my experience with Audio Note UK, and we'll end on these couple of photos. Vincent Belanger, if you don't know, is an incredible cellist, Canadian Montreal native, and has a number of really great albums out now. He's an ambassador for Audio Note UK, but the most unique thing about this experience is that they do something unique where he will perform live cello in room with the music system playing, and without lying, without being biased, without being subjective and expressing to an interest. I can say without a doubt, if you close your eyes in the middle of their performance and you're not watching things happen, for many of the sections, you cannot differentiate the music system or speakers playing from the cello in front of you. It is that realistic that Audio Note UK speakers and setup, the way that they do everything in room, their tuning, the musical quality of their system is very, 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 very close. You can tell sometimes because with the cello so close to you with a number of feet away, you can tell, like, I was close enough I could put my foot on the cello, but then Vincent would probably take my head off. It sounded so accurate that you can't tell the difference between the cello in room and the cello being played in the music. It's amazing. Gary from SI Services. Joseph, good morning. Cape Town, South Africa. I just finished celebrating South Africa's win. I saw that. I saw South Africa flags being shown, and so congratulations to South Africa for winning Rugby World Cup. That's awesome. We'll catch up on the first 80 plus minutes of your podcast. Yes, I have been at this for an hour and 23 minutes. My friends have been here watching. That's just incredible support. Thank you very much. By all means, rewatch and share if you find it interesting. It is a recap of Toronto Audiofest 2023, which was last weekend. Or the weekend before, I don't even remember now. It was the 20th to 22nd, so about last weekend. Time slips very easily here. So good morning to you. Thank you for watching and joining. Yes, so the Audio Note UK experience was really, really great. Tube amplifier, preamp that is, that's actually more like an integrated analog tube amplifier there, but the turntable has an external power supply. The phono stage, I believe, is actually built into this model. Now, Audio Note UK builds a lot of their stuff in-house, so they're able to build modules like a phono stage or certain types of circuitry into their units, swap the tubes for each build. Mirage Bryson was saying that was fantastic. I had to get one of his CDs. Yes, exactly. They are on streaming platforms, which is another good way to support, but buying the vinyl and CDs from in the show live is another great way that the artists and musicians get support. I mean, there's a lot of news out lately where a lot of the services don't pay these artists enough money at all. And Spotify's looking at paying smaller artists even less. So if it's not like a top 20, top 40, top 100, whatever, you're going to get paid even less than usual. That is insane. Sorry about the microphone. That is insane that they're doing that. or I should just say not insane, but it is unfair. It doesn't seem reasonable or justified that they're changing prices that way. So kudos to buying a CD at the show because of the performances. Now, I'm sure Vincent appreciates it, but on his behalf, I'm going to say thank you too. Yeah, it was a really incredible experience overall, and I'm going to end on this photo. This one's special. As you guys can see in the center of the image, there is a Inukshuk reward here from Toronto Audiofest and the organizers to a Mr. Terry Richardson, who was an incredible influence to people in the industry. There was an award ceremony on the Friday night, or there was a Friday night whiskey thing, so Saturday night, I believe, was the award ceremony, and it continued into the room where friends and family joined to kind of give tribute to Terry and his influence over the industry. I'm not going to get into it. It was a very sort of private affair, but anybody that's got clips or videos or anybody that you know that's in the area will tell you that it was incredibly intimate and special to be part of that. So this image is in tribute and respect to that degree, because with my coming on here and offering this type of sharing and showcasing of what happens at the show, involving some people that were at the show as well, as you've seen, some of the viewers have commented buying CDs, viewing, participating, going to shows for the first time. This industry is very old now. We have people that have been involved with audio, either engineering, showcasing, selling, demonstrating, design for a number of decades, probably 50 years. And then they may not all still be with us, so rest in peace, Terry, but his son, Ian, and others like him are in the industry, being able to share and spread that kind of feeling, that education, that welcome, that knowledge, that wisdom, and you can feel it at this show. These people are not just trying to sell products, they're literally building family as they go. So I wanted to share that, a little bit of a story, without getting too much into it or sharing too much detail. But it represents something about this area, this community, this hobby, this production of an audio show presents more connection and more camaraderie, even though brands and distributors and whatever may be competition. It's more family oriented than you would believe. So it's an incredible thing, and I want to thank the whole team, EQ Audio, Ian, Ed, Michelle, the whole family, Matt and his team, Rick at Rotel and Monitor Audio, and that whole team. These guys are amazing. I appreciate being invited in, being shown hospitality all weekend long. And I want to thank you guys for watching. If you watched it live, Vel and my friends, and Mirage Bryson that's here and commenting, and Carmen that was here earlier, and Gary for stopping in from South Africa. You guys are amazing for showing up. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it deeply. And I hope that my style or art or presentation or personality or character or entertainment resonates with you enough that maybe this hobby is considerable and something might actually inspire you to get into it more or share with others who have the opportunity to get into it more. Now, it's not cheap, but I believe that the quality of music that we can enjoy and love is really worth the pursuit. There's a smart way to do it, and there's a reckless way to do everything. So I think that we can get there together, and as long as we keep up that communication and we continue to build as a community, then I believe that we can all get there in the end. Or maybe long before the end. Everything is a bit of a journey anyway, so let's just say we will get there. So thank you, VTV, for sharing as well. Great support, great help, great to see you, great to be part of things, and great to bring some details to people who are interested enough to be here for an hour and a half. So without further ado, thank you very much for watching the stream. Thank you for supporting. If you share, thank you. If you comment afterwards, thank you as well. If you find it interesting, then invite some friends to join. And again, for the last time, I messed up the banner. Here we go. I do share more content on Instagram and Facebook throughout the day and the week that everybody can join into, everybody can follow. I'm just over 700, I think about 705 subscribers here on YouTube right now. I'm about 84 people short on Instagram to 2,000. That is incredible. I wish all those people were over here on YouTube, but without community help and sharing, this kind of falls short. So the task is, I have more content if you want to see clips, if you want to understand more about what goes on. You can follow both and be part of those communities as well as here. And if we join them all together, we become 5 robots that become one giant robot. Now that's a Deadpool quote. But definitely feel free to follow those if you wish. Red face, heart. That's how the emojis show up on my chat. It doesn't on YouTube. I see what it is on YouTube, but that's the way it looks here. So Mirage is saying this was a great live. I'll try to catch more in the future. If I do live all that often, or if there's videos that come up, it is fairly random and unscheduled. So thank you for being here for this long. I will try to make them regular, but it is rather difficult having a day job and other things going on. So thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it deeply. I am glad that I can reach you and provide some education, some inspiration, some entertainment, some kind of insights to what's going on. And I'm always available to answer questions. So enter the questions in the comments below and share as necessary with anybody who may be inspired by the content here. If you see a brand, tag it in the Facebook groups. If you see any company or distributor, go ahead and tag the store name or share it with them that I have said something about them in the show. It'll be difficult for me to tag everybody, but that's what we are, right? A community. We get along because there's a community here for everything. So that's fantastic. Thank you very much, Gary, for that. That's appreciated. And I appreciate everybody following on the others. Thank you, VTV, Mirage, Gary, for being here. Thank you very much for joining. I hope you have a great evening, great morning, great night, wherever you are. That's another quote from from another movie. What is that movie called now with Jim Carrey? And oh my goodness, he quotes it at the end of his news things. Good morning, good evening, good night. That's from Bruce Almighty. Got it. Anyhow, I'll see you guys later. I'll catch you on Instagram real soon. Have a great evening. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.